The New York Yankees organization could be in the works of a major blockbuster trade along with the White Sox, and that's right, the Milwaukee Brewers. This could be a potential 3-team trade where the Yankees receive outfielder Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox along with another pitcher and so much more that we're going to uncover within this video. But before we begin, let me welcome you to Yankees Digest. I'm your host, Gabby Gordon, and let's get into the video. But before we do, if you're among the 58.8% not currently subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button right now so that you never miss out on a video, because things are going to get crazier as the days go on, as we approach the trade deadline. Stuff's about to happen. I can feel it. Stuff's about to happen, and the news has been crazy. So what does this blockbuster 3-team trade deal actually look like? Well, look, it is obviously just a prediction, and there is no actual evidence that this is in the works yet. There's no speaking from Brian Cashman regarding this, but this is pretty insane. This could be a White Sox, Yankees, and Brewers trade to land Luis Robert Jr. in New York. And obviously Milwaukee would get their fair share as well, but they're just kind of the side characters to this massive trade here. So this is going to be a huge chunk for the White Sox here. This is what the trade proposal currently looks like in the fantasy world of trade rumors. The White Sox are going to get a whole chunk of players here with outfielder Jason Dominguez. Then they've got, they'll have a Milwaukee number 2 prospect in there, Milwaukee number 3 prospect, New York number 4 prospect, Milwaukee number 9, and a New York number 10, all within that whole bag that they would receive. The Yankees out of this would receive, of course, the Chicago White Sox outfielder Luis Robert Jr. and left-handed pitcher from Milwaukee, and then the Brewers would receive a left-handed pitcher from Chicago and Alex Verdugo from the Yankees. So this is obviously pretty insane stuff, and realistically, is this going to happen? We'll see. It's potential, though, and there's a lot of room for discussion and conversation regarding this, and maybe swapping some guys in, swapping some guys out. So it is very possible that this could potentially be in the works in some way, shape, or form, not necessarily according to this exact blueprint, but some way, shape, or form. And the Yankees need depth, and they have to be buyers. So the White Sox are clearly going to be sellers here, and they're going to get rid of their big guys, hopefully to bring in some new talent, because they've obviously just been having a rough go of things. But this could be an opportunity for Brian Cashman and the Yankees to make some moves and get some depth in places that they need depth. Let's take a look at Luis Robert. Who is Luis Robert Jr.? Well, he is the current outfielder for the Chicago White Sox. He's been having a bit of a slower start to this season than he did last year, but he is still a position of depth that the Yankees could use and replace struggling Alex Verdugo at the moment. On the season so far, he's got a .296 on-base percentage, 13 walks, and 129 at-bats with 29 hits. He also was dealing with an injury in this season as well, so he hasn't played a whole host of games thus far. He's got 10 homers, 18 RBIs. And then the other part of this proposed potential fantasy trade would be Hobie Milner, who is 33. He is a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. And, of course, like we've spoken about in so many other videos, the Yankees need some pitching depth, and they need it pretty desperately. So this is what this guy's season has looked like so far. The ERA does not strike you as something as attractive as other deals may have. Look, we talked about Tanner Scott and that potential for a trade in an earlier video. Go check that out if you haven't yet. But his ERA was at 1.5. That is obviously a very attractive statistic to look at here if you are looking for a pitcher. An ERA of 4.76, certainly not. It just simply is. And he's got 8.8 hits per 9, 39 hits allowed, 38 Ks, 4 homers allowed, and 39.2 innings pitched. But he does win games. His win-loss percentage is .750 in 39 games, and he is a decent, productive pitcher when he's on. And again, it just adds depth to a Yankees bullpen that has seriously been struggling, and it adds depth to that pitching squad. And that's what you need at a time like this when you're going for a World Series race here. The Yankees are in this, and these other teams are not necessarily in this. Obviously, Chicago is not. So if you can take what you can get in a 3-team trade, go for it. Like, absolutely go for it. Now, what is this trade even coming from, right? Where is this trade even coming from? Because I'm certainly not making up a 3-team trade like this. So this is some reports that have been stated, and this comes directly from Kerry Miller. She is a writer and for the MLB, and she kind of came up and constructed this 3-team trade. And so this is what she had to say regarding it, justifying it, just so that you don't think I'm crazy here, because I know it seems like a long shot. She said, quote, "As far as the two 2024 contenders in this deal are concerned, the Yankees would instantly upgrade an already great outfield to one of the best ever assembled, while pre-addressing the possibility that Juan Soto doesn't re-sign with them this offseason. Of course, that is a possibility that the Yankees front office has to keep in mind." She then added that after adding Robert, Verdugo becomes a dispensable, expiring asset that they could flip to the Brewers for a left-handed reliever. Because we have to remember the facts here. Verdugo is kind of on a decline at the moment, and if he can't pick that back up, he's really useless at this point in a lineup, right? If you don't get production, you really can't play, and you really can't produce, then what are you here for, you know? And then, of course, with Juan Soto, you want to keep this guy in a Yankees uniform for life, but there is a possibility that that doesn't happen. There's a possibility that he doesn't re-sign with the Yankees. Maybe he chases the money elsewhere, you know? You really don't know what that's going to look like. So they have to be prepared for all options in the aspect that you may not have Verdugo, you may not have Soto, and what the deal with Jason Dominguez is going to be is up in the air as well. He's dealing with an oblique strain, and obviously he has yet to truly be a guy on pinstripes yet, so they're still waiting for that as well. There's a lot of questions surrounding this. Now, what would the upside be here? The Yankees, again, are going to supercharge their outfield. Luis Robert is a good player when he is playing hot, when he's on a streak. He finished 12th in the AL MVP voting last season, so that's a pretty respectable thing right there. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, he hasn't been as dominant in 2024. He's been dealing with a little bit of a hip injury. He's back from it, but that really hindered his month of April. But he's young. He's 26 years old. And he is an athletic beast. He has a ton of power behind his swing. And look, the Yankees are called the Bronx Bombers for a reason. He could really fit into a lineup with power behind him. He's got Soto in there, assuming Soto could stick around. Judge, who's hopefully going to be Yankee for life, pretty much looks like it. It's only a matter of time before his production is going to come around as well, right? So what the deal technically is that these guys, you're going to have to hope that they kind of step things up if the Yankees were to make this deal. It's not necessarily we're going after the big guns here. It's we're trusting our gut based on prior statistics, and we think this could work within a Yankees lineup. And it's still better than doing nothing, in my opinion. And I think that a guy like Luis Robert, who had a really great season, a career season last year, even though he's struggling a little bit now. Look, we saw Judge struggling in the beginning of the season with an injury. He came back. He was late. He didn't have a spring training. Everybody was panicking about Judge not being the guy anymore. Now look what he's doing, right? He's on pace to break his own record. He's on pace to have a better year than he did in 2022, which is honestly impossible for pretty much anyone else but Aaron Judge himself. So, don't let the statistics fool you. This could be a good move for New York. And we're going to keep an eye on this trade buzz because, look, we're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline every single day. July 30th is the day, and the Yankees have some serious moves to make if they want to make a playoff push. And they are in the position to do it. They just have to find the right pieces to fit the remaining part of this puzzle. And they can do it if they assemble the right squad come trade deadline. So we're going to follow all of this. There's obviously going to be so many more trade rumors, and we're going to cover it all for you. So make sure that you hit the post notifications and subscribe if you haven't already, because once we find something out, you're going to find it out through Yankees Digest as well. We're covering everything trade deadline, everything Yankees organization, and of course what Brian Cashman has to say as we get closer to the deadline. So that's going to do it for this episode of Yankees Digest. I've been your host, Gabby Gordon. Thanks so much for supporting our channel. Make sure you hit the like button so that you can continue coming back. Man, I can't wait for this trade deadline. This is going to be some insane stuff. I hope it's some insane stuff and Brian Cashman pulls the trigger on a lot of these rumors. So, that's going to do it I'll catch you in the next video.